are guys, welcome to another episode of Tackle Room Talk. Now as I did in the last episode, I've had a few more messages about hook choices and when I would be using the right hook choices on commercials. So I thought I may as well do another little video about my hook choices and why I use them and when. So straight into it, the XSHB, I use these in size 14, size 12s and size 10s. Now this is my sort of everyday hook that I would use for fishing short, for big F1s and carp mainly, but also in the edge. So they're a brilliant hook, big wide gape, quite strong, Teflon coated so they keep their point, and it's a brilliant hook for fishing sort of bunches of maggots, corn, meat, big pellets, all those sort of things for big carp and F1s. Now running on from that, the XS02B. Now this is a new pattern that Preston brought out. It's the same as the XSHB, but a lot stronger. It's a lot thicker wire. So that is exactly the same as the XSHB, but a bit more specialist. So I'd use this in the same again, 14, 12s, 10s, for places like Barston, Larford, Belingi, these places with this big carp, and you're going to catch big carp regular, and they're a lot stronger, wire gauge, still got the wide gape, still got the Teflon coating to keep its point, but I know that's not going to let me down in those situations with this big carp. Now the next one is the KKMB. It's an eyed hook. Now that's what I use for nearly all my sort of hair rigging on the pole. So if I'm rigging casters, if I'm rigging pellets, if I'm putting a spike through some meat, that's what I use. So that is what I use for nearly all my hair rigging on the pole. If I'm hair rigging casters, I use a 20 or an 18. If I'm hair rigging pellets, I use like an 18 or a 16. And that's sort of my general go-to hook. Now, from that is the KKHB. Now this is a slightly heavier gauge, same as the KKM, but a heavier gauge hook. Now exactly the same as the other hooks. I use this in a more specialist situation. So if I was fishing Larford or bass and slapping a big 8mm over, looking to catch fish 10 to 15 pound, maybe an odd 20, that's the hook I would use to strong line to make sure that I get those fish in. Teflon coated again, keeps his point, but that is the hook I'll be using for specialist sort of fishing. Now, general sort of everyday use, the GPMB. Now if I'm fishing sort of anything from mixed fisheries with F1s and carp, skimmers in the summer, that sort of hook there is brilliant for an all-round hook. So if I'm fishing worm casters, pellets, expanders, any of those things, 2 or 3 maggots on the hook, that's the hook I use. So that's the general hook I use for every day-to-day fishing. That's a brilliant hook. It's got a bit of a curved bend in it, similar shape to sort of what sort of hook is it similar to? Like a B911, that sort of shape. But it's a fantastic hook, that is. Now, the next one is the FLB. Now, the SFLB is a silverfish hook. Now, I use this for sort of F1 fishing in the winter, or skimmer fishing in the winter, skimmer fishing in the summer also. If you're just targeting skimmers, that's a brilliant hook for them. It's a lot lighter than a GPMB, similar shape, very similar shape, but it's a lot lighter gauge wire on that. Still got the Teflon coating to keep its sort of point, but it's a lot lighter gauge wire. So I use that for sort of F1 fishing from autumn to winter, and skimmer fishing in summer, autumn and winter. Now the last little one is method feeder fishing. Now method feeder fishing, I use the KKMB, tied with a knotless knot for sort of fishing dead maggots. I fish that in like a size 16 or size 14. for fishing dead maggots on a method. I also use it for banding pellets and things like that, where you've got tricky sort of fishing. So if I'm fishing places with F1s or a mixture of F1s and carp, and I want a lighter gauge hook so it's not as heavy, that's the hook I would use. Now on the flip side of that, if I'm going to somewhere where I'm targeting big carp and I got a chance of catching some real big carp, or I'm fishing wafters and I want a heavy hook so the hook weighs down and the wafters up and acting like it should do, then I'm back onto the KKHB. Just because it's a heavier gauge hook, a lot heavier, you're not going to lose those big carp on it. And if you are fishing wafters, the hook's heavy enough to sit on your bed of your method, and the wafter to be up, sort of wafting like it should do. So that's the hook I would use for that. So basically, that's it. It's very, very simple. 6 patterns of hooks cover me for all my commercial fishing, whether it be spring, summer, autumn or winter. Those 6 patterns cover me for the whole of my year commercial fishing. So I hope you've learned a little bit of why I use those hooks and what I use them for. So like I said, I had a lot of questions about that. And I hope that helps a little bit. So we'll leave that there, and hopefully we'll have some more questions and I can answer some more questions and run through some more things. So if you are watching a video, like we always say, give us a like and subscribe, and leave a comment in the comments box of what you want me to cover, and I'll cover it.